Sci-Fi.
Hey everybody, welcome to Real Life Sci-Fi with Wade and Willie. I'm Wade.
I'm Willie.
This is a podcast about what is this?
I don't know.
This is a
My
podcast
voice
about
sounded like I
paranormal.
was telling you to
Yeah,
do.
to watch out. Little Dikembe. This is a podcast about the paranormal and contemporary mythology. Join us on patreon.com/reallifesci-fi for access to 2 bonus episodes a week, video feeds, and more. You can visit RealLifeSciFi.show. We've got a bunch of other projects on there. And also, you got to go see Companion. It's our friend's movie. He's never done the podcast because he's a shy guy, but he wrote and directed it. Drew Hancock. Comes out January 31st. Go see Companion, or just buy a ticket and don't see it. Just like, let's get the numbers up. You know what I mean?
That's funny. You could also watch the Nexus series, the episode called Companion that I'm in.
What the
Go
fuck
find
is the Nexus?
both the companions.
What is the Nexus series? What is that?
It's
Nexus?
like it's like a sci-fi short series on Amazon Prime.
What? When were you in this?
Yeah, I didn't know when it came back. When you had to pay for it for a while, but I think it's free now.
I had no idea you worked so much.
I think it's funny. Yeah, go watch Drew's first, but then the other one's on.
Yeah, Companion. They're both called Companion. I guess just like Google it and you can't lose. Just watch anything called Companion. Let's welcome aboard the SSRLSF. His Instagram is @Leisure Cowboy. He's an occult magic enthusiast. It's Joe Mott. Hello, Joe.
Howdy, guys. First time, long time.
Is it at leisure or athleisure? Like
athleisure, like
God damn it. I thought you said at.
No, it's like I have a horse and I wear a lot of Lululemon.
Athleisure.
Yeah.
Everyone's heard of
Okay.
athleisure.
I thought I messed it up. I was like, what? No, I haven't heard of it. I thought it was a play on
Athleisure. It's a thing. Athleisure.
Yeah,
it's like
a clothing
wearing
style.
sweatpants. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. New to me. I'm old.
You're not old. You're out of touch. You're young and out of touch. Well, let's talk about you, Joe. First of all, is your favorite song "Hey Joe" by Jimi Hendrix?
No, I don't think so. It's about like shooting a woman, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah.
And his daddy.
Yeah.
So how into this kind of world are you of we made up contemporary mythology. I don't even know if that's a good, but you know what
I think
mean.
I think it fits because like I see it kind of similar. I've been into this stuff, you know. I guess like growing up, it was like History Channel, aliens and stuff like that. And then I kind of got out of it for a while once it got weird, but now, you know, I'm sort of fully back in. It's the aliens and the Bigfoots and all that. I'm
Well,
I'm a
don't
fan
get
of
ahead
this
yourself.
show. I'm a
Don't
fan
get
of the
ahead of
show,
yourself.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So you know what's coming.
yeah.
What's your perspective on how hard they're pushing everything now?
But
mostly in the UAP realm. I know we'll get to that question. But I
they're
just
all
want to
trying
know,
to get money. I don't know. I think a lot of it's fake. I think there's like a sliver of real that gets completely like overshadowed by a bunch of obviously fake things that they can dismiss and then, you know, paint everyone with, oh, you believe in this kind of goofy bullshit. And in there, like, I think it's hard. You know that there's like these government psyop, like they've done them in the past. There's no reason to believe they're not doing them now. So it's just so hard to filter what you think is real and what isn't.
Yeah, it's impossible. I don't know how.
But like all these guys also have a podcast too, right? They've got merch. They'll try to filter you. Like all the UAP influencers are trying to like sell you that they got the real info. They have the real whistleblower, you know. And I'm like,
Yeah.
It's like this is all interesting, but at the end of the day, you know, I gotta live my life. It doesn't change how I live my life. It's just like, well, when we find out about this, it will be cool. But
well, let's dive into the wow scale, right? Wow scale. Wow scale stands for Wade or Willie. It's a 5-question quiz. At the end of the 5 questions, I'll give you a score anywhere between 0 and 5. If you're more of a 0, you're more of a Wade. If you're more of a 5, you're more of a Willy. Are you ready to be Wade on the WoW scale?
Oh, I've been waiting my whole life for this.
That is so sad. First question, three-parter. Do you believe in aliens? If so, have they visited Earth? If so, have they visited Earth in the last 300 years?
Yeah, I'm gonna go firm yes on all three. But I do think, in terms of visiting Earth, it might be a more consciousness thing rather than like flying a nuts and
Interesting.
bolts spaceship
Yeah.
here. Like that
Oh.
seems more reasonable to me.
Which version? Because you're just talking about how hard it is to know what to believe. So which version of aliens are you into, or is it not a version that exists?
I think it would be silly to think that there's not alien life out there. I think eventually they would be able to get here. And I guess you can imagine, right? The universe is billions of years old. A planet formed long before Earth, and life evolved on there long before Earth was even there. And there could just be a civilization so far ahead of us that they could get here. And I'm open to that, but I also think that would be very difficult, tons of resources. So if they could get here in some sort of like a remote viewing type of thing, I think, but like I always
Like
go
how
back
that one guy saw Obama on the moon or whatever, right?
kind
On
of,
Mars.
yeah.
On Mars. It's even worse. I thought I was going too far.
But then, like, if you think about, we're just consciousnesses in a human body, because like this is the thing you're hearing is that aliens are on Earth and we can't even tell the difference, right? Like I've heard that a lot lately, and it makes me wonder, could there be, if my consciousness is like kind of, in the driving the Gundam that is my body, could an alien consciousness drive a human body? I mean, we don't know how any of that stuff works, so
I don't know, in like comic books and shit, it's always like if there's already something in there, then you can't. So if our consciousness is taking it, I don't know if that the aliens could.
what if it's like Get Out rules?
Let's get out.
And Get Out, they hypnotize the guy into like he
Oh,
falls
yeah,
into his subconscious and they put the other guy in there.
Well, sure.
So you
Yeah.
could say like
You could do
maybe that's an abductee thing, right? Like they could take a person and they come back and they're different. I don't know.
Ooh, that works for psyops too. Of like you read something that like puts you in a trance so that someone else can jump in and take over your body because your
Yeah.
consciousness like dropped into Manchurian Candidate.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, but
It's a stretch. It's just a
but would an
comparison.
alien do that? Or would an alien, couldn't you just get into the baby? You know?
Right. Well, like
Yeah.
Starseeds say that they are alien consciousness having a human experience, so they like were allowed in. Hey, I'll have one. I'll be one.
Right,
like
right. Like they're like, I'll do this human thing for a little bit or whatever.
Like if it were a video game, like, hey, we could play this too.
Mhm. Well, and then that,
Yeah.
and but then if you believe in all that, it's almost like when we die, we'll just be aliens, right? We'll kind of
Yeah.
like you're kind of
Go up.
defining aliens as just like the energy.
That's kind of my like, I don't believe this theory, but I kind of do, is like consciousness as like a pyramid that goes like a siphon that goes up, where like you have a single-celled organism and that's like barely conscious at all. And then as you go up, you get more conscious. And like, so then you think of like a really well-behaved dog. I think next go around, that dog dies, it becomes a human because it like learned how to be a human
so you're
living
doing
with
them all.
humans.
You're
And then
doing like reincarnation too.
yeah, so you like, so like the dog reincarnates into a person, and then maybe
Right.
like a bodhisattva
It's
type person that's like the most, like they
Bodhisattva.
reincarnate to an alien,
Yeah.
but then like once you get to the alien planet, it's like when you go to the next world in a video game, it's like, oh, it's way more difficult on there. Or maybe Earth, maybe that's it. Maybe like the reason life is so hard is because we're like on the hard level of the video game,
I mean, I hope so. God damn.
Like couch,
If it's worse
couch
than
potato.
this on the next one.
When you're like, oh, I just want to get home and watch TV. It's like that's what bugs are doing. That's what dogs are doing.
All right, question number. So you're saying yeah, but then like that's what we want. But what is like
I'm saying alien life is out there, and there's a
uh,
number of different ways I could picture it getting here.
yeah.
And I'm not going to rule any of them out. Because like if you
Yeah.
listen to UAP guys now, they're saying like the US government has a ship. Like that's like they're saying like straight up we have like the Independence Day, we have a ship in a bunker.
And
I'm
some of them
like,
say that the ship it runs by when you touch it, it like runs off of your thoughts. That's
and
out
I'm
there.
But how much of these guys saying that stuff is like Skip Bayless saying that like, you know, Tim Tebow's better than LeBron James or whatever.
well, I have a theory on that. Do you remember you guys talked about that movie Bigfoot like 2 or 3 years ago? And it was
The
that
Bobcat
movie.
one?
No, it was on Hulu and it was about that
Finding
guy.
one
No,
of the
it was
Finding
like, did
Bigfoot one.
Bigfoot kill a guy? Was the premise.
Yes, it was a series.
Yes. And
Yeah.
at the end of it, when he basically figures out that what they did was they took the most kind of credulous guy at the camp and they put on a show for him, right? They killed somebody, chopped him up, ran him over with like forklifts or whatever, and then they took the loudmouth guy that'll believe anything, showed him it, and they're like, "Oh my God, Bigfoot killed a guy," and then they got that guy to spread it. And I think if you have CIA budget, you can do psyops on all these people. You have everyone you're doing
Every news outlet, every social media thing, like you use everything.
Yeah. But then you're looking at your employees, okay, your Bob Lazars, and you're going like, this is our guy. And you put on a show for him. And you use your Hollywood budget to take him through a building where you up the intensity and you make him lose all of everything. And it's like, I was in an alien fight and I saw it. And it's all actors. But then you also have all the real shit that he did. So I like that's kind of my theory on a lot of these is there's probably one or two that are real and they use like I think Bob Lazar is a pure psyop. I think he did a lot of the things and there's a ton of truth in it.
He's
but
a genius, he's a rocket scientist.
Yeah, but like the heart of his story that he's whistleblowing, he's not lying, but the story's not true. That's like
they fucked with him.
They fucked with him. That's where I put my chips down on that.
That's pretty interesting. All right, we gotta get moving.
I love that. Yeah.
Second question: ghosts.
Yes, but similar to aliens, I do not believe in disembodied human. Like you can die and then like your soul pops out and it has all your memories or whatever. I think like if you were a cranky guy that sat in a chair angry, then you might angrily rock your chair. Like that energy might be stuck in the chair more than like, I think like maybe, you know, a sliver of you can stick around again, kind of in the reincarnation thing. But I don't think people are lying when they have ghost stories, but I don't believe in disembodied.
It's another psyop. They've all been psyoped.
Yeah. Psyoped by big haunting.
Oh, dude, I just watched a movie. I'm sorry. It's not a good movie, but these two kids, and they're actors that you've seen and stuff, but they're not great. They like decide they're going to haunt their neighbor, and the neighbor's James Caan. And I think it's called The Neighbor, maybe. It's interesting if you like those movies where they're shooting everything like with their webcam, fucking whatever. Question 3, Bigfoot.
I'm gonna go, yeah. I gotta say, I think he could be out there, but I've seen a lot of evidence. I've looked into it. Tons of fakers. Again, I think a lot of people want to believe Bigfoot's so bad.
Yeah.
I think Bigfoot hunters are very funny people. I really enjoy them, but I think a lot of them believe in Bigfoot so much that they're just like, I could fake it until I make it. Cause like so much is like, man, that's just a sound of hit sticks knocking together. There can be someone off camera doing that. It's just so hard. But I've also, I'm out in nature a lot. And if you try and take a picture of any animal, it's kind of tough. It's not the
Yeah.
same with your eyes. And even like cell phone cameras, the zoom is not very good. Camouflage
Dude, I
works
can't even
really
I can't even
well.
I can't even get a clear picture of my cat. She's right there.
Yeah. So,
Fucking moving around. They like know when the camera's on them and they don't like it.
yeah.
I wonder why. Do they think it's stealing their soul? Question number 4, Illuminati.
Nah, I mean, I think there's a lot of rich people and they have the incentive to make money. And I think that's like all you need. But like the idea that there's like 12 people sitting around a table, like deciding like this is what Beyonce's halftime show is going to be, and this is what like we
Ooh,
gotta put in all the
don't
secret.
forget the symbol of the goat.
The
Yeah, it's
triangle.
like,
Where's the triangle? Have her make a triangle with her hands.
yeah, I don't believe in
Isn't that
any of
it?
that.
It's like that or something.
That's funny.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
don't like that.
I do think that's happening.
I know. Well, that's why it's on the scale, dude. All right, last one, multiverse.
I'm gonna go no on the multiverse. I'm not sure. It's like there's so many different versions of it. I like the idea that there's like infinite different versions of me who's each have made one. Every decision spins off another one. I don't, I don't buy that. I think
Well, would you buy a different universe that's like 100% different and has nothing to do with Earth?
if you think about our universe, I guess we have no idea what, if anything, could be outside of it. So, I guess you could have multiple universes, but I don't see any way like we could get to them or access them.
Here's
Willie,
my little
how do we get to them or access them?
right. So I think that consciousness, which we know nothing about, is the thing that creates all the different multiverses. So it's not that this world is something, all the multiverse is something that we can travel between. It's that our existence is just electricity. And so when our consciousness can think of something, it can think of everything, and we can experience them all. Our consciousness can, without us knowing that.
So
We
that's
don't
kind
even
of
know.
you're sort of making a case there for sports superstitions, right? It's like if your consciousness thinks that you're wearing the winning hat, then that makes your consciousness more likely to go into the universe where your team wins.
Yeah. You got both. And then is my consciousness the same single consciousness of the universe? So the more people, it's just the more me that are having the
I mean, I basically do.
championship
Yeah,
soup.
I do believe that. Like we're all,
Wait, you believe that we're all the same person?
we're all
We're all
in
everybody from
you kind
Lost.
of it's
We're all
like
everybody.
there's
Remember Lost?
the face behind the mask of your identity or whatever that is. We're all part of that, we're all like each a
Do
sliver of
you?
divinity.
Yeah, well, that goes along with my thing, which is that the planet is going to retain all of our energy, and we're going to crash into another planet, and then humans will be reborn.
I mean, if you
Prove
believe
me wrong.
that the
Prove me wrong.
if nothing can be created or destroyed, then
Yeah,
I
right.
guess
So
that applies to human souls, that applies to everything. So then, where else is there for us to go?
we're all just Earth, baby. Save the rainforests and the whales. So you are 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you're like a 3, which is crazy because you started out hot. I'm gonna say you're a 3.5 at least.
Right, because of Bigfoot.
I mean, come on. Nobody believes in
I
Bigfoot.
Here's the thing. Like yesterday, I watched a bunch of Bigfoot stuff, and I was like, you got me back.
Yeah.
I go out on it, and then you see a bunch of evidence. You're like, oh, he might be there. But I do have to see a body. I should say that. Like, if I'm gonna believe it, I need and I'm not saying go out and hunt Bigfoots, but I need to see a
But
skeleton.
do bring me that body.
Yeah, I gotta see.
Gotta
I will
see it.
say, if you're gonna hunt Bigfoots, do the clacking thing that everybody thinks Bigfoot does, so that
To scare off all the other Bigfoot hunters, or wouldn't that bring them toward you?
You might get shot
it might.
if
Yeah,
everybody's making Bigfoot noises out in the woods.
But if it's some kind of warning for the Bigfoots, they might come investigate who's sending the warnings. Like, it wasn't me, and I'm the one that's supposed to be watching all the other ones.
Yeah, there must be another Bigfoot around here. I better go get it. Maybe I could fuck it. Right?
I feel
what
like
else would they be thinking?
so. There's sort of multiple Bigfoots too, right? There's like the mind speak Bigfoot.
Well, hang on.
And then there's
We can't.
like,
We cannot get into Bigfoot. We'll be here all night. Willie, what are we really talking about today?
Tonight on Real Life Sci-Fi, Hypersigils, the next or first step in chaos magic, a world where art and magic intertwine on a journey of creativity and manifestation, where symbols and storytelling shape reality itself. Create your best future with the power of intention and symbolism tonight on Real Life Sci-Fi.
Yeah. So okay, we've talked about this before. I don't know how in depth we have, right? Or
Right.
what the difference is between what we have before. I don't know.
So there's chaos magic. We did that recently, and then we haven't talked about sigils, but sigils ultimately is creating a symbol or something that represents your intention artistically.
it's kind of programming your subconscious mind. The idea is it's pretty much the most common, the most like easy to do method of chaos magic, which is like you write down your intention, delete the vowels and repeating letters. You combine those letters into some squiggle, and then you focus on the squiggle, and that will then happen, right? Like but it's important, they say, to be very specific in your intention, because it's kind of a monkey's paw type scenario. If you just ask for money, you might get it in a way that you don't want. And then
Which is like that's such a hilarious thing to throw into this. Like, careful, the devil's weird, man. He might trick you, because like what? And I'm not saying this is devil stuff, or is it? Is it devil stuff?
Nah.
I think the devil gets blamed for a lot of things, but if you think about trying to communicate with the universe, which I do think is possible, because it is all electrical signals, electricity. Can we manifest things? Can we focus on things? The universe doesn't know what a negative version of a word is. So if my best example is, don't miss this free throw. You're focusing on missing the free throw. That's the subject. So
yeah.
So by even just saying it, you are focusing all your intention on the subject of missing it. I know I just said that, but I'm just rewording it.
Yeah, well, it's because I interrupted you and it was very rude. But what I wanted to know was, so you get this sigil, it's got your intention in it, and then what? Like, what do you do with it?
Well, you have to cast it. So, like, in that is essentially like you focus on it, you get it in your head, and then you go and do something like exercise to exertion while focusing on it. Like, you do something to like get.
Well, I mean, I'm out. If you have to exercise, I don't want to.
Well, he's just saying that you focus so hard on something that you jump into the flow of
you have to get into you can't just be
like
in
a
your
fugue
state, kind of like a trance type of thing. But you have that in your head, and then I don't know, you just kind of like send it off into the universe, and then you're supposed to forget about it. That's kind of the key. So
it only takes like an hour or something.
I mean,
so you just make it, and then you just concentrate on it, and then you never think about it again. Like, what if it doesn't work?
Well,
so that's sigils. If it doesn't work, you're not supposed to focus on the outcome. You should just move on. You have your intention.
You do it, and you just sort of trust that whatever you do. So the very first one I did, it's like 2015. I was working at a call center second shift, and it was very boring. And I had just started getting into chaos magic. I had just gotten the condensed chaos book, I think. And so I'm second shift at work, and I make this sigil I want something weird to happen at work. And I had like made it, and then I hid it in my desk, like under my keyboard. I go home, I get this email that, hey, you have like a voicemail, which was weird because I was working in a call center. I didn't have an outside line. So I get in the next day. Somebody has left me a 5 minute straight, like it cuts off mid-sentence voicemail, just rambling nonsense. And I didn't tell anyone at work I did this. I don't really talk about this to anyone. And I was just like, I don't know how. The call came in exactly at midnight, and we had like the Cisco IP phones. The only way to get to me, you had to be transferred from like an operator who wasn't working. So it's like, I have no idea how this message got onto my phone. It was just like the universe maneuvered this, and I was like, holy shit, it worked. Like, that's the weirdest damn thing that's ever happened to me at work. And like, I was kind of in from there because it was just like, it's something unexplainable that, it kind of, I guess, could be explained. Like, somehow you could track down this person theoretically, maybe, but I don't know.
So instead of wanting $1 million, you just wasted your wish and had a
Well, it's not
weirdo call
really-
you.
Yeah. Well, look, I've done them. Let's see. So I've done them to win parlays, but I can't do it consistently. Like my DraftKings, like I'm up $3,000 lifetime. I've only ever deposited $50 and I've won over 4,000. So it does work, but it's just not every time. And I think maybe it goes into other people's, like other people's will, other people's.
Yeah, if you're manifesting, if you're having a sigil, if you're putting your intention to things, so is everyone else. And so, like, I think the universe, like water, is going to take the easiest path.
Yes,
the water running. It's like, oh, boop, 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 boop.
But there's also, I get you, Willie. My lack of response, it was a very apt analogy. Good job. But your parlays also deal with your knowledge, right? And I'm not.
I'm not. Listen, I don't like research, right? I go in, I do like a $1 12 to 13 team parlay.
I
like
said this
the
before.
last one
I thought you were doing research.
Hang on. Fucking one. So on a 12 to 13 team parlay, isn't the payout like fucking?
Like I won
you win at least $1,000
off of one.
Right?
I won $1,100 off a $1 bet. I won $3,000 off a $1 bet. But
and these are just random picks.
I usually will do like the last one I won. It was every NBA game and every NHL game that day. I just did a money line parlay, all the games, and then I just fire it and forget it. Yeah, I just do like for whatever.
And you won that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I did a sigil. I will win a 12-leg parlay.
My mind is blown.
And I thought you were making fun of me.
No.
It's crazy. Like, that's
trying not to yell because Moose is going to bed. Like, what the fuck?
So
wait. So there's like 15 games or 15 teams. How do you make a sigil out of all of the?
The thing. I just skip to the end. Like, I will win a 12-pick parlay. That's my intention. And then I make 12-pick parlays every day until I win.
So you don't actually do the sigil, you just do the rest of it.
See if I can find one around here. Hold on.
Yes, please. Because I've never seen one. I've only ever heard them described. Go on.
Joe, you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so about 3 months ago, I wrote down this sentence, and it was like, I have it written down. I don't want to go get it, but it was basically like, I am very happy about how I am getting increasing money from different streams of income, something like that. And I read that every day for a few months. I didn't work that much this year. And then within the next month, after 3 months of doing it, between my car getting wrecked into, between getting a job that overpaid me, and then
See that car getting wrecked into. That's what I'm talking about. That's where you got to be specific.
And some crypto. I got $40,000 between those three events happening, more than I've made in the last like 3 years. And I'm like, I was just repeating this thing every day. And I'm like, I don't want to blame it on that, but I do believe in it. And so like, whether it's real or not, like, it's fucking crazy.
Well,
all
that's
right.
the
So
thing.
did you find a sigil?
Yeah. Can you see this?
Yeah.
I have no idea. So like what I do, because it's hard. You don't want to you got to get rid of the lust for result. That's what they call it. So I destroy the paper that I use to write the sentence. So I don't get that out of my head. And then I just keep them around for so long that I sort of forget what the original intention was.
Yeah.
So then, because it's like, I know that I'm doing this, but I try not to actively think about it.
Because you're gonna kill your own results by going like, this isn't gonna happen or whatever, like focusing on exactly how it's gonna happen is how you ruin the stream.
How long does it take you to make a sigil?
I mean, it's probably like 5 minutes.
Oh, so if I gave you a sentence, you could make one right now?
I mean, you could. There's
but the thing that you showed me is like there's like an art to it that I would not be able to. That's like,
you got to make it magical. That's part of the thing. Like you got to make it look. So you take all the letters and then like you delete stuff off of them and you chop them up and then you make it until it's like something that you could remember. It's simple enough that you can keep it in your head, but complicated enough that it's not just like a triangle or something.
Okay, so there's no wrong way to do it either.
No, there's no.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna start making sigils.
Wade, you might like this. Do the same thing and then rearrange the letters you have left into like a mantra. And you can maybe add vowels back in, and then you just like say this mantra it's kind of like what Willie was doing with his sentence, but then this is like, it's kind of a sigilized version of the sentence, which like they say it programs your subconscious to get the thing or to like attract the thing. I don't know about how any of that works though.
Well, who does, right? When you're saying you like kind of repeat it to exhaustion or whatever, what's the rule with that? Because like here's what I'm struggling with is how much do you say it before you forget it and then not think about it anymore?
I mean, it's really like you kind of feel it. It's hard to say. It's like here's an example of something with your mind. I don't know how to put it into words really.
In the realm of manifesting, what you're supposed to do is get into the mindset of it already having had happened. Sorry, I didn't do that sentence right. And so like you feel like if I'm watching the Bronco game and we're behind and I all of a sudden I get in the mindset of I can't believe we won. You try to get to the future, but think about it from the future perspective of the past of it happening. So you're tapping into the different parts of your brain where the things that tap into memory, you play with them, right? If you can jump into that stream of feeling of the victory, that is, I think, a bigger power than manifestation. I know that you're not supposed to focus on outcomes, but this is just specifically manifesting. So you get to the point where it already happened. So with hypersigils, now we mentioned Grant Morrison a little bit when we talked about chaos magic, but he wrote this book
right here, The Invisibles.
Invisible Smile.
It's called The Invisibles. It's it's a thick ass comic book. Yeah. And it is his hypersigil.
And he was used a character and wrote himself as one of the characters. And all of a sudden, he's using chaos magic. But he's using the sigil of storytelling. And so
like a hypersigil is the same thing, as kind of the sigil, but you're adding art, characters, story. So in the Invisibles, there's a character named King Mob that looks exactly like Grant Morrison, the bald Scottish guy with piercings, right? And Grant Morrison talks about as he's writing this book, the things that are happening in the book to King Mob begin happening to him. And he realizes that he has King Mob meet a hot redhead, and then a hot redhead comes into his life. When King Mob gets captured and tortured, he gets like a bad staph infection that almost kills him. And so he had sort of realized that he had tapped in because he had been doing chaos magic. And then he was like, oh, I'm making the sigil of my own life that's like way more powerful than anything by
And
like
so
putting myself in the story.
The idea is that when we create art, we're jumping into the hypersigil stream. And so whether you're creating a symbol or whether you're doing art or writing something, and the writing thing is stronger because you are using more artistic ability. It's like you're using the story that you're creating.
Well, you have to, like, if you want to make one for yourself, right? You have to put a lot of effort into what you want to happen in your story, right? You can't in a sigil where you go like, oh, I want money. When you're making a hyper sigil, you're like, what do I want my life to be like where I get this money? You know, like what you have to, there's just so much more like visualization and like you're making it more real, essentially.
Right. But he wasn't intending to do that. So why did it happen?
He tapped in because it's like voodoo almost, right? Where you have a doll that represents a person, and when you poke it in the foot, then their foot hurts. He basically made a voodoo doll of himself in this character.
He
And
tapped into it, and then he started focusing on what he wanted to happen to him.
right. He
So
He
noticed
took control of it.
It turned into the world's most boring comic where it's just like this guy like getting laid and like making a bunch of money. And you're like, what is the story here?
I haven't read it. Where does it get to, Joe?
So, oh, Willie, you'd love it. So it's basically like the bad guys are called the archons of the outer church, and they're like the military and corporate elite. And the invisibles are this group, they're like a sleeper cell of chaos magicians that are like fighting on behalf of humanity using magic to sort of to fight the evils. It's like it's very, very into the stuff that this podcast is about. Like there's a part of it where they break into the military base in Dulce, New Mexico to try and steal the cure for AIDS, because this was back, he's made it in the early 90s, right? But it was like, oh, like the government created AIDS and like these guys are gonna go, yes, it's like stuff like that.
Wow. So I watched a few videos of people taking this to the next level for themselves, which is like one trick that some people do is when you're trying to make a hyper sigil for yourself. Now you can write a poem, a song, a story, a book, a comic, whatever. Some people say you should get a pen and a book and like consecrate it to like be focused on only the idea that you're only going to use these things for your hyper sigils. And then when you do it, take real life memories, real life things that happen to you, and intertwine that with what you want to happen so that you are mixing the realms. This is the feedback loop of consciousness, which takes real things that happen to you and things that you want to be real. And when you intertwine them, somehow it works on this, it uses the same parts of your brain, and that helps it become a reality.
Mm-hmm.
People say like there's some with when you're just doing like regular sigil magic, you should do like I will have spaghetti for dinner. And it's something you have complete control over, right? So you go, when you know you're gonna have spaghetti, you do the spaghetti sigil, and then you do another one that you have less control over. And so it's like in in the one going true, it's like kind of bumps the other one because it's like you're programming yourself that like when you do these things, they work.
Interesting. I mean, because here's the thing: this can't work for everybody, right? Or there's so few people doing it that we wouldn't know.
That's the whole thing, dude. Picture like this is a bad example, but we're in the entertainment industry. Picture like young actors that made it, that believed in themselves so hard. Like look at Jim Carrey's story. Like he always talks about how like he wrote himself a check for $1 million and believed he was going to cash it, and then he did. I mean, he didn't cash it, but then he had $1 million in his bank account after doing 3 movies in 1 year that nobody knew who he was, and all 3 movies were blockbusters. You know, that's just believing in yourself.
You see
but
it the other
focusing
way
so
too.
much on it, and then like focusing intention, but then taking steps to add your intention to reality.
Well, and think about like you saying, you know, it can't work. Think about how many people go through their lives manifesting complete shit lives for themselves. They complain about whatever. They're like, I'm gonna fuck this up. I'm gonna do this. Like they like constantly reinforce things that they don't like. Oh, you know, it's Monday again, whatever. You know, I think when you do this magic, you kind of take a little control for yourself over what happens to you. And like that kind of helps. It just regardless, it kind of makes it work even if it doesn't work.
Here's the sad part, okay? Picture this version of everything we've talked about, but a few rich elite royal bloodline people know that this works and they don't want to share it with anybody. So they have their little team and they all do it with each other and it works and they all become famous and they, you know, whatever, get their money and like they've proved to themselves that it works. They don't need to tell anybody else about it. And then all of a sudden you're like involved in helping determine the curriculum for children, or you know, this is a stretch, this is a conspiracy stretch, but it's just like you picture the Rothschilds, you picture Bilderbergs, JP Morgan is who I'm thinking of, and all of a sudden he's responsible for like school curriculum and doctors and like he, you know, meddling in a lot of things because he has the power to take over all these and things and like only because.
No, but I think you're on something in terms of like, even if those people aren't doing it, they are doing it, right? They have a mindset of, you know, my will shape the world. And they set out to try and do it.
Yes.
You know,
I blame JP Morgan on holistic medicine not being credible because they decided that medicine should be from his universities that he was paying for. And then you're teaching kids to all of a sudden like you're
okay,
like
sure, but yeah,
I know.
I mean, honestly,
big snowball.
If you want to go down that rabbit hole, right? It's
I
much
kind of don't.
more the Christians that the satanic panics, you know, like that's what suppresses a lot of this is
every time I say
it's evil
like,
when it's really
organized religion takes away your own personal power, it's because they're giving it to God's going to give you money. Jesus is going to give you money, not yourself.
Or I mean, I think the idea that this isn't the real world, right? Like if you believe you're going to heaven, why would you give a shit about anything that happens on earth? You're going to live eternally in paradise. So like whatever, you're here for 80 years, who cares? Like if you truly believe that, I don't know, like what is there to do? You're just waiting to die so then you can get on to eternity. So I don't know.
Well, that's why they're so insufferable, because the whole point of getting into heaven is like spreading that message, right? So like that's what they do.
And then you're so mad at someone who's not doing it right.
Fucking religion. If you listen to the pre-show, I had a run-in with a religious guy, so it's on our minds. But is that it? Because like I'm on board, man. I'll do that. I'll make a sigil tonight.
So, dude, like whether you're making a song about
because I am
poem,
always because
a story,
yeah, like you like like you're saying, Joe, the people who have miserable lives, I do believe that they are manifesting it because they're so negative all the time. But I've never understood how to grasp onto the positivity and make that work for you, you know? So this is as good a thing as any, right?
Maybe the story or whatever you write will work out too and be good
I'm not
for
doing
you.
a
But
hyper sigil. I'm not doing that, man. I'm just gonna make cool signs and put them up.
I was
The hyper
gonna
sigil thing scares me because like I don't want the shit that I write to happen to me. Like
no. But when you focus on a character that you are writing as
Yeah, you got to put
you got to
yourself in
make your voodoo
there.
doll of the story.
okay,
It's not
yeah. Well,
everything you write.
I mean, it's a lot of work to write some shit that I'm not trying to sell, right?
But that's what I'm saying. You
Like
could sell it
Yeah,
too.
but what if you wrote a story about a guy who sells a story?
nobody
You're
wants to watch that. That's a
But
boring
no, but
fucking.
then no, but the story is about a guy who sells a story, and then inside your hyper sigil, you write the story that you sell.
Well, that's just Delirious with John Candy. It's a great movie. You guys should watch it.
Eugene Levy.
A guy tries to smash a vase, and his father, who's always really negative to him, the vase just bounces, and his father goes, "You can't even do that, right?" And it's great. It's a great movie. It's a good
Never
movie.
seen it.
Oh, watch it. It's great.
Yeah, it is good.
Or
It holds
like
up.
Stranger Than Fiction was a little bit like that, right? Where he was hearing like the narration of his life, and then he had to find the author who was currently writing it.
Okay, that's good to hear. I didn't see it because I didn't, I got mad.
It's super high concept. I don't know what makes you mad. It's Will Ferrell. Like, what would make you mad in that? And like, what did you
Reading,
see in a trailer?
hearing the narration of the narrator.
That makes you mad? I don't understand you at all, man.
I
Joe,
know.
any
Well,
I well, no, I mean we have, I don't know what, 10 or 15 minutes. I just didn't know if there's like a third thing to this or not.
I mean, not really. I was before this, I was, doing a little bit of research, and I did see someone who had written this blog that was like basically what you're describing was, hey, I accidentally made a hypersigil, which was like a guy who wrote this comic, but like the way he described it was like he wrote it in all one setting in like a manic thing, and then it ended up happening to him. And he's like, but it wasn't exact, it's like, the characters, it's like they all sort of, corresponded to someone who entered his life. So, I mean, I do think you can, like, if you make a character enough like yourself, you can do it on accident. So just,
Watch out.
yeah, watch out for, you know,
That's why
I know.
I only write females now. So that I don't get stuck in a hyper sigil. They're just me, but they're females, so it can't be me.
if you're like channeling the gender bent Wade from the other
Oh man.
universe, the
Well, what if it turns me trans? Can that happen? Where I hyper sigil myself into being trans.
Right.
right?
Mine's going to be Bigfoot on accident. Found you.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to go. I don't want to go hunting.
No,
I
yeah,
want to
you would have to.
stay
It
the
would have to
night
be
in the
like.
woods.
Well, the Bigfoot
yeah.
hunters, they say camping with purpose. That's the way you see Bigfoot. You can't go out
Camping with
there with
purpose.
all your gear. You got to go out there like you're just going camping, and you're just like paying attention for Bigfoots. That's how you get the
Yeah.
experience.
Like, picture if hypersigils is real, and I do believe they're real, but picture an entity that also has survived with this too, like a Bigfoot. If they have any sort of, you picture Cro-Magnon man, all the split offs, all the different humans, and like some of them figured out that anything they think of comes true. So it's like, hey, let's just go have sex in the woods for the eternity.
Right.
and leave us alone.
Yeah.
Don't find us.
Right.
So they're hyper sigiling their existence.
Yeah,
never be
Bigfoots are
found.
making sigils to not be found, and they're just so much better. They've had a head start.
Yeah. Well, it's because that's all they know. Right. I mean, we've got all these other beliefs running around confusing us. They're just like, Yeah, I don't know. I make this thing out of sticks and I say, I don't want to be seen today. I just want to fuck. And then it works.
Yeah, I think that's like, I think you could probably do that. I think if like you got a person who's never seen an advertisement, they would probably like be awesome at
Yeah.
manifesting.
Yeah. Because they would
Like
be so stupid.
an uncorrupted brain.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, weirdo, make an advertisement for yourself.
Okay. Oh, look, I'm a millionaire.
I like money.
I mean, that is my white whale, and I'll let you know if I win the lotto, because I've made a lot of I will win the lottery jackpot sigils. Haven't done
Mhm.
it yet, but I'll let you know when it happens.
I'm working on it too.
I guess. I
Somebody's
guess.
got to win, right?
Yeah, no, I just like I was thinking about that earlier and I was like, well, I would rather kind of like earn. I'd feel better if I earned it. I don't know. A lot of lottery winners just don't end up happy, you know?
I always say and it always works for me when I focus on it that like I just want to get some creative work. I just want to get some creative work. I want to be hired to be creative. And
I don't know. Wade said something on a recent episode that you're like, hey, I just want like my life I have now, but I'm rich. And that's pretty much
Mhm.
what I want, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But if yeah, well, that's why I'm kind of going back and forth on it. It's like, yeah, I guess I would be smart. I wouldn't be one of these idiots who like wins the lottery and then just like buys a bunch of shit, you know. I'd be the
right.
world's most boring lottery
I
winner.
mean,
I would keep
how could I
everything the
not
exact same.
buy a Lamborghini? Like, how can I not? I
You
don't want to,
can't, dude. It's
but I do
stupid.
want to.
No, you can't. It's stupid.
I'll
Don't
buy an
do
old
it.
one.
If you buy a Lamborghini, then you're gonna have to buy a place to put it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to like get it tuned up every time you drive it.
Fuck those cars.
Put
Those
new
cars are
tires
worthless.
on it all the time.
It's such a money pit, dude. I don't know why you would do that.
Well, that's why I started making pictures of me with them because I'm like, hey, it feels the same. Like, I don't actually need the car. It's cool. I bet driving it, like, I'd be annoyed at how low I am. I'm like, I can't even see the bump.
I don't think I would want to people like spin out in those cars. I don't think I would be able to drive it right. Just give me an old truck.
I like the idea of having a mansion with a track around it that was for a low speed Lamborghini. It's like, oh no, I don't go
I
fast. I'm
mean,
just gonna drive it around.
it would be cool to have a track around your house. But now we're talking Richie Rich money.
I know. Oh. We grew up with too many Richie Rich things. Every time I watch Brewster's Millions, like I get really depressed, going like,
How'd
I could have
Brewster get
spent
all
that
those
money.
millions?
Yeah.
But there was the rules were pretty tight in Brewster's Millions. I mean, how would you have done it? And I'll tell you what rule you would have broke.
I mean, throwing parties.
Okay. They try, but like, how much does he have to spend?
I think he has to spend $1 million in it to get
It'd
$1 billion. I
be a
never
lot
remember. Was it
easier now.
something weird like 9 million in
Yeah,
a week?
it was a lot. I don't know. They made it look really hard.
I think you could just buy one of those like self-destroying Banksies and probably get it in like one purchase.
Ooh.
Well, if he, yeah, I guess.
I
Because
think there's a rule against
he
art,
buys
though,
the
right?
stamp and mails it, right?
Yeah, so he
So I
ruins
think
the value of it.
yeah. So I think if you buy like
You
there's a bunch
can't
of
intentionally wait. There was one rule. I think you can't intentionally destroy shit. But I think by using the stamp as its intended purpose, it was like a loophole. You know.
That sounds right.
I'm blown away they haven't remade that yet. Brewster's Billions. It's right there.
Yeah.
yeah, alliteration too. It's better.
Yeah, it's an even better title. Why wasn't he called Mewster? Mewster's Millions. Well, what do you guys think? Should we wrap it up?
Yeah, I will say I wanted to get onto this before this episode happened, but I didn't. But I want to make a hyper sigil myself, write a story, and but like I want to keep you updated so that you can see the path also, instead of me just 10 years from now going like,
Well,
it
that's
still
a
hasn't happened.
question. That's a question that I had though. Does it ruin it if you tell people stuff?
No, because like part of the thing with the Invisibles was getting it finished. Like it was a big problem he was running into was getting it. He was like, are they gonna allow me to finish it? And so he wanted all the fans to make sigils themselves that the book would get picked back up. So yeah, no, you can tell people, and like they say that like, and I don't know what I think about this, but that like the more people that see it, they put it in their consciousness, so it goes to the collective unconsciousness, so it like almost it's a multiplier or something.
Right. Okay. So
So
yeah,
you
Willie.
want to people to know about it.
So Willie, you should start your hypersigil, and we'll do like a weekly hypersigil check-in.
Word.
That's what you're getting at, right? That's what you wanted?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
All right. Cool. So let's do that. Joe, do you have any the Instagram is Athleisure Cowboy.
Yeah, that's really all I got right now.
What's on your is there is are you selling something?
No, I just yeah, you can follow me. I got pictures of pigs. I got pictures all my animals.
Oh yeah, where's your
You
goat?
can
Bring your goat out before we leave for the watchers, the viewers.
And what kind of milk are you feeding that? Is it goat milk?
it's a kid milk replacer.
So it's like a formula?
Yeah.
What's the goat's name again?
Elizabeth Taylor. I call her Little Liz.
Little what?
Liz.
Little Liz. What a little cutie. Does she
Mhm.
jump around on stuff?
Oh yeah. No, she's wild. She's laying by her heater right now, but when she's up and around, she's moving.
Willie, any final thoughts?
Like I said, I want to work on this. I think I challenge you out there to make a small one, just to play with it. Like start small. I know that you're not supposed to focus on the outcomes, but like I feel like I've had a few work over the years to where I it makes me think, even saying stupid things like, I always get a front row parking spot. I repeat things to myself. I'm like, it fucking works, man.
All right, so everybody yeah, think positively and stuff. And thanks for listening or watching or whatever. Go to patreon.com/reallifesci-fi for bonus episodes. We're going to continue this conversation on the more with our new friend Joe Mott. I don't know what we're going to be talking about, but I'm going to be working on sigils as we do. I have it. 1 second. What is it? Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not after you. We'll see you next time.
Real life sci-fi.